Welcome to Movie Xtra. Today I will show you a drama, thriller movie from 2017 titled, Sister of Mine. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Enjoy the video. At the start of the film, we see Oliver, who is a filmmaker located in Los Angeles. He is giving an interview with his girlfriend Karen. After the interview, Oliver and Karen return home. While Karen is in the shower, Oliver decides to watch some adult stuff online. While watching the videos, he comes across his half-sister Aurora's adult video. He is shocked to see his half-sister on the adult website and watches the video, over and over, to convince himself that it's not her. Deep down, he is thrilled to watch the video and he can't stop thinking about Aurora, so he decides to meet her and leaves to go to Madrid, Spain, where Aurora lives with her mom. After arriving in Madrid, Oliver goes to Aurora's college where he meets Aurora and her friend Natalie. Aurora is excited to see her brother return after such a long time and Aurora invites him to stay with them, but Oliver says that he will be staying at his friend's house because he doesn't have a good relationship with Aurora's mother. While driving back home, Aurora asks him why he has returned. Oliver says that he missed her and wanted to see her again. After reaching home, Oliver leaves and Aurora gives Oliver her car keys so that he can travel easily. The next day, Oliver goes to meet Aurora. After talking for a few, Aurora gives Oliver a haircut. Oliver learns that Aurora broke up with her boyfriend Abel a long time ago and is now dating Carlos, who is also her classmate. Julia, Aurora's mother, calls for Aurora. She leaves and Oliver quickly places a hidden camera in her room to spy on her. Afterwards, Oliver goes out to have lunch with Aurora and Julia. Although Oliver and Julia don't really like each other, they try to act normal in front of Aurora. The next day, Julia goes to pick up Aurora from her college. She is not happy with Aurora because she gave up her car to Oliver. Julia believes that Oliver is selfish and only thinks about himself. He comes and gets what he wants and then disappears like a ghost. Aurora gets angry about this because she loves her brother. For Aurora, Oliver is an independent man who does whatever he wants and goes wherever he wants, and no one can control him. The next day, Oliver sends a gift to Aurora. She receives the gift and takes it to her room. While she is opening the gift, Oliver is spying on her through the hidden camera and is recording everything. The next morning, Oliver wakes up early and checks the recordings to see what Aurora did all day. He sees Carlos and Aurora spending time together. Carlos wanted to get intimate with Aurora, but she turned him down, saying that he is like a robot, who just goes in and out, and that's it. Aurora wants something more creative and exciting, which Carlos isn't capable of. After hearing their conversation, Oliver gets more excited. The following day, Aurora goes to a party with Carlos and Natalie. Aurora doesn't want to be at the party and wants to leave. Just then, Oliver calls Aurora and invites her to his party, so Aurora makes some excuses and leaves to meet Oliver. Aurora arrives at the party, where she and Oliver have fun together. They drink alcohol, do drugs, and are enjoying the party. In a drunk state, Oliver and Aurora end up kissing each other. Later that night, Oliver spies on Aurora and he notices that she is sad, so he calls her and apologizes for kissing her. Aurora tells him that she isn't upset because of the kiss but because of her upcoming final exams. She fears that she won't perform good in the exams and her scholarship may get rejected. Aurora always admired Oliver for being independent. She wants to spend some time with Oliver, just the two of them alone, and learn more about him. One day, Aurora meets Oliver at his house. They plan to have lunch together. While Oliver is getting dressed, Aurora checks Oliver's camcorder and finds an adult video of Karen. After Oliver gets dressed, the two of them leave for the restaurant. Aurora tells Oliver that she doesn't like Carlos because he wants to control her. She wants to be free, just like Oliver. Afterwards, Aurora asks Oliver about the adult video on his camcorder. Oliver reveals that he and Karen like to do these things, as it makes it more exciting. He then asks Aurora if she has ever recorded any such videos of herself, and Aurora reveals that she recorded one such video with her ex-boyfriend Abel, but he took the recording with him. After having lunch, Oliver takes Aurora back to his house and shows her the recordings from the hidden camera. Aurora is shocked to see the recordings. She realizes that Oliver was spying on her from day one. Oliver tries to justify his actions, saying that, because they are half-siblings, there is nothing wrong with that. But Aurora is upset with him and leaves immediately. Time passes by and Aurora has distanced herself from Oliver. One day while sunbathing outside with Natalie expresses her desire to get intimate with Oliver as she finds him handsome and charming. Aurora gets furious by this, as she is still upset with Oliver and doesn't want to talk about him. Later that night, Aurora tries to find the hidden camera in her room and after some searching, she manages to find it. Instead of removing it, she calls Carlos and invites him over. She wants Oliver to see them getting intimate. Oliver is thrilled to watch them and he can't control his desires anymore. He keeps watching all her videos, over and over, every day. One day, Oliver goes to hang out with Aurora and her friends in the woods. Aurora excuses herself and goes to relieve herself. Oliver goes after her and starts touching her. Aurora tries to stop him at first but eventually gives in to his advances and they passionately kiss each other. Carlos catches them kissing but doesn't say anything and leaves. Later that night, Aurora and Oliver are intimate in her car. Afterwards, Aurora somewhat feels guilty for what she just did, as she knows that what she has done is wrong. She is confused with the whole situation and doesn't know what to do now. Since it's already late to go home alone, Aurora asks Oliver to drop her home. After she returns home, Julia starts beating Aurora, as she learned about Oliver and Aurora from Carlos. Meanwhile, Carlos goes to Oliver's house and beats Oliver ruthlessly. He even destroys his laptop and all his equipment. Julia wants Aurora to forget about Oliver, so she takes Aurora to a psychologist, hoping to know what's going on in her mind. Aurora says that everything is complicated and says she loves Carlos, but she also loves Oliver and that there is nothing wrong to do it with both of them. Everyone in Aurora's class now knows about her relationship with her brother and make fun of her. Because of this, she is unable to focus on her studies. Since Oliver's laptop is now completely destroyed, he uses a projector to watch Aurora. He also tries talking to her, but Julia has grounded Aurora and has also taken away her phone. She tells Oliver to stay away from Aurora and suggests him to leave the country soon. She even threatens to kill him if she sees him anywhere near Aurora. Later, Julia tries talking to Aurora and requests her to stay away from Oliver, but Aurora tells her mother that she loves Oliver. Julia believes that Aurora is ill and wants to treat her. Days pass by and Aurora is still grounded in her room. She can only go outside to meet the psychologist under Julia's supervision. Aurora reveals that she was always attracted to Oliver since she was young. Although she never intended to be intimate like this with Oliver, when Oliver made the advances, she couldn't control herself. While returning home with Julia, Aurora manages to run away and run straight to Oliver's house. There she sees Natalie, who is intimate with Oliver. Aurora realizes that, while she was going through so much in her life, Oliver was busy doing it with her best friend. She also realizes that Oliver doesn't love her the same way she loves him. She is just pleasure for Oliver and he doesn't care about her emotionally, not even a bit. Aurora returns home with her broken heart and she decides to end her relationship with Oliver for good. She cuts some of her hair and removes the hidden camera, indirectly telling Oliver that it's over. Aurora now puts all her focus on her studies and does the final exams. After a few days, Oliver receives a package. When he opens the package, he finds Aurora's hair inside. It is a message by Aurora that their relationship is over and that she never wants to see his face again. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and leave a like if you'd like to see more videos like this.